I now call the June 5th, 2025 meeting of the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Board of Education to order. There being no opposition to any items on the agenda, it's adopted by unanimous consent. I turn to Board Member Melissa Easley as she introduces tonight's pledge leader.
Good evening, everyone. I have the honor of introducing Maya Bergsman, a junior from North Meck High School. Maya is an impressive student, and which is why I asked Maya to lead us in the pledge at tonight's board meeting. Even though I've known Maya as a dynamic scholar, after learning more about her, came to know that I did not know half of what makes Maya so amazing. So here we go. Hang on to your seats. Maya is the Vice President of North Meck Drama Club, Stage Manager at North Meck Theater Program, North Meck Speech and Debate Team, National Honor Society, a member of Health Occupation Students of America Club, and a member of the Writing Club. She's even a brand representative for Hollister. And her hobbies outside of school, Maya volunteers with the Charlotte Humane Society, fosters for Cats of Davidson, and when not saving animals, she's spending her time reading and hiking. Academically, she shares what subjects she loves and why. Spoiler alert, there are teacher shout-outs, which makes me very happy. Maya loves IB biology. Miss Mann presents the material in a thoughtful and engaging way, deepening her passion for the subject as she plans to major in college. Intermediate technical theater. This class is taught by Miss Chapman, allowing her to be creative while learning the behind-the-scenes work that brings production to life. IB theory of knowledge. She appreciates the class because Mr. Pasco challenges students to think in new ways and explore big questions throughout thought-provoking discussions. Maya also wants to thank Mr. Getz, her chemistry teacher, as he is easy to talk to and also connects well with his students. Here today to support Maya is her mom, the Honorable Lisa Bergsman, her dad, Dr. Aaron Bergsman. Maya is also joined by several of her inspirational and dedicated teachers. Miss Chapman, Maya's theater teacher, Mr. Getz, Maya's science teacher, and Mr. Cook, Maya's English teacher. Principal here is also here to support her tonight. Thank you, Principal Hood and team, for making North Mecklenburg High School a special place to learn. Maya, we are so honored to have you here tonight. Will you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance and then share your essay on the topic of respect?
Thank you for this opportunity. May we all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Respect is the backbone of a strong and healthy society. In kindergarten, I learned the golden rule. Treat others the way you want to be treated. It sounds simple, and it should be, but as I've grown up, I've seen how often this basic principle is ignored. We see it in the news, on social media, and sometimes even in our schools. Respect means recognizing someone's humanity, even when we don't understand or share their experiences. It shouldn't depend on someone's skin color, beliefs, or identity. It is not always easy, but it is always necessary. Respecting someone, even when they're different from you, is a powerful act. We can all create a more respectful world, one choice at a time. That starts by truly listening, being open to change, and remembering that our differences aren't problems to solve. They're opportunities to understand. This month is Pride Month. I ask you to reflect on what respect looks like in action, especially towards LGBTQ+ people, like me, who still face injustice and hate. Small acts of respect can change lives. It can change your life. So today, let's recommit to respect, not just as a rule, but as a way of life. Thank you again for this opportunity.
As the consent agenda items have been provided in advance to the board members, is there a motion to approve them as presented?
I move. Second.
Moved by Klein, second by Byers Bailey. All those in favor? Show of hands. It's unanimous, Madam Clerk. I turn to Dr. Hill for appointments.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This evening, I am pleased to announce several principal appointments. Our first principal appointment is Heather Haas. Heather Haas is the new principal at Billingsville Cotswold Elementary School. Ms. Haas has 17 years of experience. She is currently serving as the assistant principal at Bain Elementary School and has held multiple positions here in the district. She started her career as a teacher in Union County Public Schools. She holds a master's degree in educational leadership as well as a master's degree in instructional technology. Congratulations, Ms. Haas. Our next appointment is Nikki Dudley. Nikki Dudley is the new principal at Bruns Avenue Elementary School. Ms. Dudley has 25 years of experience. She is currently serving as the assistant principal at Tuckasegee Elementary School. She's held several positions here in the district and started her career as a teacher in the Metro Nashville Public Schools system. Ms. Dudley holds a master's degree in school administration and elementary education, both from the University of North Carolina at Charlotte. And finally, we have Dr. Sarah Wright. Dr. Wright is the new principal at David Cox Road Elementary School. She has 12 years of experience in education. She is currently serving as the Exceptional Children's Director with the Montgomery County School System. She has served as a principal in Asheville City Schools and started her career as a teacher in Rowan Salisbury Schools. Dr. Wright holds a doctorate, master's degree, and bachelor's degree, all from the University of North Carolina at Charlotte. Congratulations to our principal appointments this evening.
Thank you, Dr. Hill. We have 4 public hearings this evening, and the rules are as follows. Only speakers who have timely signed up for these public hearings are eligible to speak. Speakers are not permitted to read statements or speak on behalf of someone else. Each speaker will be called to speak on one at a time. Each speaker will have a maximum of 2 minutes to address the board. Each speaker may only talk about the topic that is the subject of the public hearing. Individual student matters or specific personnel matters may not be discussed since these matters are confidential and not appropriate for a public hearing. This includes identifying students by their name, their address, or any other identifying information. Speakers are welcome to offer comments or criticisms, but should refrain from personal attacks, accusations, threats, and insults. Speakers should also refrain from identifying students or staff by name or providing personal email addresses, physical addresses, or any other identifying information. Profanity or inappropriate language will not be tolerated. The board reserves the right to cut off any speaker who violates these rules. The first public hearing this evening is modifications to policy S-HOM, students experiencing homelessness. There being no speakers for this matter, this hearing is adjourned. The second hearing for this evening is creation of policy S-FOST, students living in foster care. There being no speakers signed up to it for this hearing, I declare this hearing closed. The next public hearing this evening is modifications to Exhibit B-IND/E, Board Operating Procedures Manual. There being no speakers that have signed up for this, to address this policy change, to declare this matter closed. The next public hearings for new elementary school on Old Park Road Elementary School site. The first speaker for this evening is Meredith Loveland.
Hello, does that work? Okay, thank you. Hi and good evening. Thank you so much for the opportunity to speak tonight. My name is Meredith Loveland, and I'm a parent in this community with a rising kindergartner and a rising first grader at Dilworth Elementary. When this project was first announced, let me back up. While tonight's meeting is focused on the proposed boundary changes for the new Dilworth Elementary School, I wanted to take a moment and voice a related concern that these changes in the broader planning of the new school do not come at the expense of the pre-K program. When this project was first announced, it was assured that the pre-K program would be included, but as construction has progressed and moved forward, that assurance feels a little less certain. And that's concerning, not just for families such as myself, but for the long-term success of students across our district. High-quality pre-K is one of the most effective ways to prepare children for school. Research shows that in North Carolina pre-K programs, students perform better in reading and math through grade 3 and are more likely to graduate on time and need fewer special educational services. This program also provides access to families who may otherwise never experience school before kindergarten, especially those facing economic hardship. It's a critical tool for equity. And with new boundary lines bringing in areas such as Marie G. Davis, the need for early education access only grows. Locally, we've seen how successful and influential this program is. I've been told that more than half of Dilworth's incoming kindergartners actually come from the pre-K program. These students are more prepared socially, academically, and emotionally. This pipeline is proven to work. Lastly, I want to acknowledge the amazing pre-K teachers themselves. Our pre-K teachers have been displaced this past year and will be next year as well. They are working in a separate building with limited support, yet they've continued to show up with heart and commitment. Let's please show them the respect they deserve by ensuring that pre-K is part of this new school project plan. Please don't let pre-K be an afterthought. Our children need it, our teachers have earned it, and our community is asking for it. Thank you.
Daniel Clyburn.
I just want to discuss the few students who are at Dilworth who came through the SPP program. Those students are, that program is for students in lower performing schools, and we were lucky enough to get placed at Dilworth, and the whole group of kids there love it. I'd also like to thank Terry Serbeck, if I'm saying her name correctly. I just know her by Terry, who has already brought this issue up multiple times. I just want to make sure that it's heard again, so I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll now turn to public comments, and the rules for public comments are as follows. Only speakers who have timely signed up for, I declare the hearing for the new elementary school on the Old Park Road elementary school site closed. For public comments this evening, only speakers who have timely signed up for public comment are eligible to speak. Speakers are not permitted to read statements or speak on behalf of someone else. For these matters, the board encourages you to contact the appropriate department, staff member, or our board office. Speakers are welcome to offer comments or criticisms, but should refrain from personal attacks, accusations, threats, and insults. Speakers should also refrain from identifying students or staff by name or providing personal addresses, emails, or any other identifying information. Profanity or other inappropriate language will not be allowed. The board reserves the right to cut off any speaker who violates these rules. As I call your name, please come to either podium and speak in the order that you are called. The first two speakers for this evening are Marley Hefner and Sarah Kudachkulis.
Yeah.
Sarah or Marley?
No, just come down here.
Your name, please. Your name?
Marley.
You're Marley. Okay, is Sarah here? All right, then the next speaker is Julie Jones after Marley Hefner.
Hi, my name is Marley.
Julie Jones is not here. I apologize. Julie Jones is not here.
So Carolyn Chaffin. Carolyn Chaffin. All right. Nakia Jones. All right, you can proceed.
My name is Marley, and throughout this school year, I can only recall 2 times in which there was even a small attempt at preparing students for the tragic but very possible occurrence of a school shooting or violent perpetrator. It was messy and uncoordinated, and along with this, I can only recall once on the first week of school that we even spoke about the possibility of this happening. It was a 5-minute understatement of what really could happen at school. And on the first week of school, students aren't thinking about lockdown drills and shootings. So it's really kind of ineffective to tell them that only on the first week when information just goes right out of the other ear. Students need more than 2 lockdown drills. We need more than 1 small talk at the beginning of the year that skims over a lot of different parts of a lockdown drill. So whether it's more lockdown drills or lessons or simply being able to openly speak about it more, we need students and staff to be much more prepared for school shootings and violence. So for the upcoming 25 to 26 school year, I ask that we work harder and more thoroughly to prepare ourselves for this. And most importantly, we need students to remember that a school shooting is very real and very possible, no matter how safe we think we are. Thank you.
Thank you. Stephen Haregrove. You can go ahead, Ms. Jones.
Good evening. CMS leadership has done it again. Their style of leadership has forced the resignation of the principal of Audrey Kell High School, a top-tier educational district focused on Crown service and capturing kids' hearts should go above and beyond to discuss, rectify, and fully disclose any alleged missteps of a veteran principal. One would think that CMS leadership would have the insight and appreciation to show some respect for a 30-plus year principal who's shown consistent service. CMS leadership continues to operate by any means necessary mentality to cover their lack of preparation, comprehension, and decisions. Where's the concern for our school community? Where's the transparency? Where's the integrity? The handling of the forced resignation of the principal of Audrey Kell High School was unacceptable and lowbrow. On last Tuesday, we were informed by the media of her suspension. Thursday of the same week, CMS told us of her resignation. Now, because of their thoughtlessness and self-serving behavior, nearly 850 students will be graduating without their principal. How is CMS leadership able to achieve and provide excellence if they cannot exemplify excellence and transparency to the students, the parents, and the staff they serve? Now, you all are on notice. We need you to be more involved in the conversations and decisions of the CMS executive team. We need you to permit the principal of Audrey Kell High School to attend and speak at the Audrey Kell graduation. And lastly, we need you all to do better. Every single student deserves an educational system that functions better than this. Thank you all.
Kelly Ludwig. All right, you can proceed.
Hi, my name is Stephen Haregrove, and I'm a parent of 3 boys that attend Charlotte East Language Academy. And I'm a teacher at Audrey Kell High School, so I have a lot to say tonight. On May 12th, my wife was taking my kids to school when they saw a fleet of ICE vehicles arresting a father on his way to morning drop-off. When my 10-year-old son asked to attend a protest, he made a sign that said, "My friends shouldn't live in fear." There's been a lot of fear, hurt, and anger also at Audrey Kell the last couple of weeks. There's been several principals from across this district who have been removed in stealth with no explanation. I wonder if the pattern and method of these suspensions have been about the consolidation of power instead of the guards and guardrails that you have envisioned. I teach comparative politics, so I'll tell you that the core tactic of authoritarian regimes is the arbitrary exercise of power to create a culture of fear. I want to be clear, I'm not equating the pain of deportation ripping families apart to the ignominious end of a celebrated educator's career. What I am saying is that I worry that the goal in both these cases is to make people afraid of transgressing a life-altering invisible line. Is that not the message being sent to the staff of CMS? You can have a full career, be beloved of staff and students, and lead one of the state's top-performing schools by every metric, and all of it gone with only media rumors remaining. Do you want to cow the other principals of CMS at the expense of drying up potential administrative recruits given this fearful climate? I also have two requests to demonstrate your support of immigrant communities. First, that you allow community-based organizations to provide Know Your Rights information and training directly to families. Second, to provide in-person trauma-informed training for teachers around family separation and immigration. Thank you.
Barbie Gearhart. Ms. Ludwig.
My name is Kelly Ludwig, and I'm a frustrated parent from Marjorie Kell. I stand before you tonight because I want to express my deep dissatisfaction about the recent communication of Ms. Brooks' retirement and the leadership of our superintendent. While I respect the superintendent's position, I have deep concerns about how she has treated Ms. Brooks and the AK teachers, admin, and staff who work tirelessly to serve our students. Leadership should inspire, support, and empower, not intimidate, dismiss, or belittle. AK administrators and teachers describe an environment of fear with district leaders rather than collaboration. We're speaking of whilst we're speaking up, risks retaliation rather than resolution. AK teachers and staff are exhausted, demoralized, and frankly afraid. And when the people who teach our children and run our schools are treated with disrespect, dishonesty, and lack of transparency, our students pay the price. A school district thrives when its leaders foster trust, respect, and open communication. Instead, morales are deteriorating, talented educators are leaving or are forced to leave, not because of the students or the community, but because they are undervalued and undersupported by central administration. These turnovers harm our schools, our communities, but mostly our students. I urge the board to take a deeper look in the details of Ms. Brooks' retirement, along with the ongoing lack of transparency and horrific communication. Investigate the climate under the superintendent's leadership. Ask yourselves, is this a culture we want for our district? Are we prioritizing power over partnership? Our students deserve leaders who model respect, empathy, and integrity. They had one with Ms. Brooks. Our principals deserve leadership that uplifts the professionals dedicating their lives to education, not those who undermine them. We deserve better. Our students deserve better. It's time to stop enabling leaders who rule by fear.
Carla Stobo.
Hey y'all, my name is Barbie Gearhart, and I have 7 children, and I have had 5 in CMS. I have 1 grandchild in CMS. I'm a registered voter, as are 5 of my children, and my husband's a registered voter also. I met Jamie Brooks when she was the principal at Community House Middle School with her famous Welcome to Middle School orientation. And she was awesome, even back then. And when she became principal of the high school and my children were in the high school, I was overjoyed. And there is nothing that makes me feel more safe, especially in a climate where, like the young girl was talking about school shootings, where I know that my children are in good hands when Jamie's there. I know that. I feel better about that. I would email her every year and tell her that. That's a special thing. That's an important thing. That's a safe thing. That's a special thing. And that doesn't come with everybody. We were asked the other day what kind of characteristics we want in a principal. We have it. Y'all have her curriculum vitae. Y'all have had it for 30 years. You know exactly what we want. We have it. Y'all let it walk right out the door. You suspended her. You won't even tell us why. Now, if you had a reason to suspend her and found a reason to hold her accountable for an action, that's your business. But you held a reason to hold her accountable and still pay her. So it wasn't so egregious that you fired her and you took her pay away, but it was egregious enough she couldn't be there. So if you're going to pay her to stay home, then you should tell us what it was about. But if you're going to fire her or force her into retirement and then turn around and ask me, what is it I want in a principal? I want Jamie. That's what I want. That's what I've wanted.
Heather McAfee.
Should I begin?
Yes.
Hi, my name is Carla Stovall, and I'm an Audrey Kell parent and president of the PTSO. My concerns about timing are as follows. Number one, why was the building update sent on the 23rd of May? That's almost 3 weeks from the date that Mrs. Brooks was reported as suspended. May 3rd, 4th, or 5th would have been fine. May 23rd, not so much. So that was confusing. Timing. Why did the administrator, staff, and parents not get the courtesy of hearing about the suspension prior to it being shared with the news media? That was hurtful and disrespectful. Timing. Why was this done at the end of the school year during exams and all the other activities that happen at the end of a typical school year? Senior celebrations and tournaments and so many other things. Our principal was not there, and that is how we knew, because she was always there. Timing. If there was to be a retirement, why wasn't she given the opportunity to do so at the end of the school year versus when it took place? That felt targeted and unfair. Timing. If a principal is so heinous that she needed to be removed immediately, that implies she must be a danger to our students. If my child was in harm's way under Jamie Brooks, I needed to know that immediately. It felt like you did not care about my child. Altogether, your timing was inexcusable. Jamie Brooks is one of the most transparent principals ever. Our school board could take a lesson from her. The CMS school district would be better off if it was run like Jamie Brooks ran AK. In the very least, we deserve an apology. At the best, the board needs to review and change its policies regarding communication. And for other families that are out there, watch out, your school could be next. Isn't that right, Randolph Middle? We are AK Nation, and we are AK Strong. Thank you.
Karen Morris. You can proceed.
Good evening. My name is Heather McAfee. I'm a proud Audrey Kell parent of 3 children, a community advocate, and a founder of a nonprofit that's provided over $500,000 in food support to families in 11 CMS schools in the past 5 years. But tonight, I'm here as someone who has worked closely with Jamie Brooks for the last 8 years on school improvement teams at Community House and Audrey Kell. And I am heartbroken, not just by what happened, but how it was handled. Jamie Brooks is not just a principal, she's the heartbeat of our school. She shows up early, stays late, at every game, every meeting, every hard conversation. She leads with strength, integrity, and deep compassion. She works harder than anyone I know because she believes every child and every educator she serves. And now, after 30 years of dedicated service to CMS, she is being pushed out quietly, without transparency, and during one of the most critical weeks of the school year. It's not just unprofessional, it's harmful. It erodes trust and breaks the spirit of the school community that she poured her soul in. Our students deserve stability. Our staff deserves clarity, not fear. and our community deserves answers. So what now? Jamie should be offered the opportunity to be reinstated. Her record and leadership speak for themselves. If there is no other option, then honor her publicly, like the principal of South Charlotte, and acknowledge that Audrey Kell's accomplishments that Dr. Hill highlighted in the parent school message on Tuesday, that all made possible under Jamie's leadership. Finally, I urge this board to review how this case has been handled compared to other situations in the district and share those findings with the community. We cannot learn or rebuild with silence. Jamie Brooks deserves better, and so does the AK community.
Susan Hicks. Ms. Morris. You can proceed.
Good evening. My name is Corinne Morris, and I am here as the parent of a senior who will be graduating at Audrey Kell High School. I have known Jamie Brooks as principal for my daughter in Community House Middle School as well as Audrey Kell, and I have grown to respect her as a truth teller, someone who is transparent, who doesn't feel the need to sugarcoat any realities that need to be faced, which was really important to me in middle school years, navigating social media and all of the impacts of that. And my lasting memory of Jamie is really a parents' meeting that she coordinated after hours when she didn't need to be doing this, but as an opportunity for multiple cultures to sit down together and discuss differences. She used the book, The Hate You Give, as a springboard for those discussions. I came away deeply impacted with my eyes open to a lot of realities that I didn't know existed. And that is the type of leadership that we truly need in this day and age. We need understanding, and we need cooperation, and we need discussion. And I hope that this leadership and many other leaders across our country can take a leaf out of the page of Miss Brooks. And I would dearly love to have Miss Brooks be at my daughter's graduation. And so that is a humble request to this board. Thank you.
Jennifer Keller. 6.
Good evening. My name is Susan Hicks, and I'm a deeply involved AK parent speaking today out of concern regarding the lack of transparency and communication from the CMS leadership, Superintendent Hill, and the school board. As a parent with children who have been with Mrs. Brooks as a principal first at Community House and now at Audrey Kell for the past 8 years, I have witnessed firsthand the kind of leader she is, one who constantly puts students in the community first. I'm going to share some facts about AK's success. Audrey Kell is ranked 505 nationally out of more than 25,000 public high schools. We're ranked 13th in North Carolina, 3rd among public schools in Charlotte, and the 2nd out of 35 CMS schools. 78% of our AK students are enrolled in AP classes. And here's something incredibly important. 55% of our student body are minorities. That's real diversity, and these are real achievements because of her. I know of families who've moved out of state specifically to be part of this exceptional and inclusive campus. We love AK and we love Mrs. Brooks because she shows up, she leads with integrity, she believes in our kids and follows the rules. So you understand our outrage when without warning or transparency, she was suspended despite following district policies. Families and staff were left in the dark for weeks. Her suspension occurred in early May, but we didn't hear anything till three weeks later. Superintendent Hill had already promised improved communications in a video sent out in February. Clearly, that promise has not been fulfilled. I have a daughter who just won the prestigious North Carolina Teaching Fellowship, but now she questions whether she would ever want to teach in CMS. And can you blame her or numerous other talented educators who will undoubtedly pass on coming to CMS? You do not stand by your educators, you do not communicate with them, you do not show them respect they deserve. You're asking for the qualities we want in a new leader, but nothing needs to change from what we have with Mrs. Brooks. You're the group that needs to recognize that. Shame on you, do better. Education is the most important gift we can give our children, and when we have a strong, loyal, and effective leader, you push her out.
Phil Gramaglia. Let's go.
My name is Jennifer Keller, and I'm an AK parent, and I strongly believe in the value of public education. Our children deserve to learn in an environment that values integrity. Our teachers deserve to work in a school system where they are not just told they are respected and valued, but are shown. Our teachers shouldn't be afraid to speak out for fear they'll lose their jobs or not be able to pay their bills. Please don't ask us to trust you that there was a personnel reason that a beloved principal with 30 years of service simply retires without saying goodbye to her staff, students, and parents. You want us to trust you when you tell us that you value our input on a new principal when you expect to announce that new principal in less than a month. I'm here to tell you we do not trust you. Mrs. Brooks was apparently suspended on May 2nd, and the only reason any of us knew about that was because we started asking where she was. On May 23rd, we got a vague notice saying she would be, quote unquote, away for a period. You knew she had been suspended for 3 weeks by then, and you lied. Why? CMS apparently suspended another principal at Randolph Middle School on May 20th, just 2 weeks after she was assaulted by a parent on school property. The notice went out to parents on May 28th, simply said, the principal is away from campus at this time. You knew she'd been suspended for over a week, and yet you lied. Why? I'm here tonight to demand that CMS stop lying to us and to demand that the school board look behind the wool over your eyes and launch investigations surrounding the sudden and seemingly inexplicable suspension of at least 4 principals in May. This is not leadership, and our students and teachers deserve better.
Is the message getting through? You know, clearly CMS does not understand how to empower true leaders in their schools and in the district, and this is just another example of them not empowering a true leader in Jamie Brooks. My name is Phil Gramaglia. I'm an AK parent of 3 kids. I'm here to bring attention to the ongoing lack of communication, poor leadership, and broken trust within CMS under Dr. Hill's leadership. On February 24th, Dr. Hill issued a public apology saying, I apologize that parents weren't notified per our process. We commit to doing better. Fast forward a few months, promise broken. Principal Brooks' last day, as we all know, May 1st, 3 weeks, nothing communicated until a retirement comes in with no explanation. And still, as many of the parents have said very clearly, there is no trust amongst the AK parents with CMS leadership. This silence continues to create stress, anxiety, and unnecessary rumors through our community. You see it all over the news. Again, AK in the news. All our kids want to do is have a strong leader and go to school every day, learn, graduate, go to college, and be productive citizens. The damage didn't stop there. Principal Brooks has been actively advocating for proper teacher allotments for the upcoming school year, resources that directly affect student safety and achievement. Her sudden removal stalled that work, and now AK is once again facing reduced staffing. Also, her current administrative team is trying to do the best, but they have not been, properly briefed, and now many teachers are left in limbo because they were there because of Jamie Brooks, and now they can't transfer because the portal has already closed. Please do better. Bring Brooks back.
Tyler Erb, Seal Gonzo. 1 second. Seal Gonzo.
Unfortunately, this is the second time I've had to speak at a board meeting this year. This is the second time I've come down and tried to talk about something that was deeply concerning to me about teachers or opportunities being taken away, but we were listened and not heard. The level of disrespect that my fellow staff members felt when we were introduced to Dr. Bostic for the first time, someone who's never been in our school, and told that she needed some respect, when we were kept in the dark for over 3 weeks that our principal was put on paid leave. We had to find out through the news. I had to get shared a news article on a phone from a student, and that's the only way I found out, when CMS Communications could have done a better job. They could have been more transparent. They could have been more respectful of our time. But this was a ploy by the district to make sure that none of my fellow staff, who many came to work at Audrey Kell to work with Jamie Brooks, didn't have the opportunity to transfer. The transfer period had closed, and unless you were getting some type of promotion, none of us even had the availability to leave if we had wanted to. That shows a lack of disrespect from the board and from the district. This culture of fear that this district has tried to kind of instill into their teachers to not speak up, to have communication behind closed doors without anything on written record so it could be denied later, so that way we can do better later. It's infuriating, and it's highly inappropriate. Again, I've worked for this district for 12 years, 10 underneath Jamie Brooks, and this is the most angry and most distrustful I have ever been of this district. This is inappropriate, and you all need to do better.
Marianne Ruiz.
Hey, there is one question I am willing to bet no one on this board had to ask themselves every morning. Who will take care of my kids if I don't come home tonight? Immigrant parents ask that question every single morning. Who will take care of my kids if I'm not home tonight? Right now, the families of over 32,000 newcomers and 1 in 3 students in the district have at least one immigrant parent who could potentially benefit from the event I'm hoping you will get in your hands pretty soon. The event is a preparedness plan coordinated by Outbridge, along with the Hispanic Federation, and one of many that trusted community partners are trying to get in the hands of immigrant families. Preparedness plans, in this case, allows parents to define who will take care of their kids, who will keep their house, their car, bank accounts. This is a legal service that could cost hundreds of dollars, but this event is free and is meant to prepare families for the worst-case scenario. Since last February, community organizations like ours have been banned from sharing flyers like this with schools and parents. Our flyer has the right disclaimers, is aligned to the CMS guardrails, and it is our job to connect families with resources like this. It is urgent information for families to have. The flyer needs to go out before the end of the school year so we can actually work with them this summer. So tomorrow I'll be emailing a formal request, again, for approval to distribute the flyer. And if it is denied, I need it in writing. We haven't had anything in writing, and that's not okay. If it's denied, we will formally appeal it, which now I know is the process. But again, it has been all verbal, nothing in writing. Community-based organizations are responding to urgent, time-sensitive cases every day, and we need clarity. That shouldn't be controversial. It should be the baseline. Thank you.
Luis Cruz.
Good evening. Good evening. I'm Marianne Ruiz with Carolina Migrant Network, an organization supporting families with loved ones in deportation proceedings. Through our Mecklenburg hotline, we hear from parents too afraid to take their kids to school and families living in fear of detention. In response, we send trained community verifiers to address concerns and help restore peace of mind so our communities can live with dignity and freedom that everyone deserves. I stand before you today not just as a representative for the organization I work for, but as a concerned member of this community. Our schools should be places of growth, imagination, and security, but when ICE is present near our schools, the safety is shattered. Children are left frightened, distracted, and traumatized by the possibility that someone they love could be taken from them, sometimes right before their eyes, as seen in early May, where a father was detained near the entrance of Charlotte East Language Academy. This is not a safety issue, it is a moral one. How can a child focus when they're worried their loved ones may not be there when they get home? We need to come together and demand clear policies to prohibit ICE presence at or near schools. An evaluation by researcher Amy Hahn Nelson determined that in a scan of the 20th largest schools district, CMS is the only district that has a policy limiting distribution of Know Your Rights information from community-based organizations. We need clear policies that protect our students and families. So let's conduct mandatory trauma-informed trainings for teachers and for staff, focus on the impacts of immigration. Let's provide families with education, tools, and resources with guidance that school staff can share so families know where to look for help. And let's expand mental health services to support students and families who are navigating this uncertainty, because our children deserve better.
Marilyn Gomez.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Luis Cruz, and I'm here today not only as a parent, but someone who is deeply disturbed at what occurred at Charlotte East Language School, a place that should be a sanctuary of learning, safety, and compassion. As I was driving home after dropping off my daughter at school, I witnessed ICE agents on marked vehicles and silverware stop a parent at Charlotte East Language School in front of their children. To have ICE present in our grounds or near our school where our children come to grow, explore, and feel protected is not to show traumatic. Our children are watching, they see the aggression, the fear in their classmates' eyes, and they are learning the wrong lesson. The fear and intimidation are acceptable tools of authority. This is not the message we want to send. This is unethical. It's an affront to the value of the community, love, and refuge that our school should stand for. It erodes the trust in institutions meant for learning. No family should have to drop off their children at school and wonder if they'll be back home to meet them there. To truly support our immigrant and indirect impact students, we must take concrete, compassionate steps forward. This includes mandatory trauma-informing training for our teachers and staff, especially focused on those unique challenges of immigrants. We must also equip families with accessible educations to ensure school staff have clear guidance to share accurately non-legal information and referral. Lastly, we need to expand mental health services so students and their families receive the support they deserve. These changes are not just necessary, but more imperative to create a safe, inclusive, and empowered learning environment for all. Thank you.
Cyrus Tahiri.
Good evening, members of the board. My name is Marilyn Gomez, and I'm a CMS parent and a proud PTA board member at Charlotte East Language Academy. Growing up as a child of immigrants in the 80s, I remember my parents telling me that school was my safe haven. Today, our students still need that assurance from our schools. For many families, schools are their primary connection to public life. They want clear, compassionate communication. I'm here tonight to urge this board to take two critical actions to protect and support our students and families. First, we need in-person trauma-informed training for all CMS teachers and staff with a specific focus on the impacts of family separation and immigration-related trauma. When a parent is detained or deported, the ripple effects are felt throughout the classroom and the entire school. Teachers want tools. They have told us this. They need guidance to support students through this specific type of crisis. Research shows us that in-person training is more effective for trauma-informed practices because there's high retention, stronger learning outcomes, and better engagement. These are not achieved via a self-paced module, as they often rely heavily on self-motivation. It has low retention, and it is a barrier on our educators who are inundated with online work. Second, we need clarification on this policy and clear communication. We asked CMS to allow schools to physically provide Know Your Rights cards to families in backpack, mail, front offices, and community events. These cards are an educational tool. They are life-saving resources that families need access to prepare for any emergency. Our district demographic tells us that our students and families need this. Family separation hurts. Our educators hurt. When their students hurt, they need tools. Our families need access to accurate and trusted information.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Paige Alexander.
Hello, my name is Cyrus Taheri, and I'm a parent of 2 kids that attend Charlotte East Language Academy. I'm also a member of the PTA of Charlotte East Language Academy. The reason I'm here is, on one side, I find it very sad and very troublesome what we've seen over the past few weeks. We all seen ICE coming near school, taking one of the parents away. As you would imagine, this is impacting the lives of the kids. It's also starting to impact teachers, impacting all the staff members. I found it very, very troublesome when I came to learn that CMS is one of the few districts that has a policy that restricts community-based organizations from distributing Know Your Rights information about immigration to families. I find that during times where things are so complex, there is so much doubt and there is so much stress, education and information is the key. So for us, what we're asking is very simple. We're asking our schools to be equipped. We're asking our staff members to have access to in-person trauma-informed training to be able to manage this. We're also asking for us to be able to, in the school, have Know Your Rights cards, know your right information, because at the end of the day, where else are these kids going to find the information? Where are these parents going to go to other than the schools? For me, it's very simple. The reason I'm here is because my kids are watching. My kids are going to ask me what I did. So thank you so much for your time.
Morel de Castro.
Hello, my name is Paige Anderson, not Alexander, and I am a retired teacher from Charlotte East Language Academy. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to use my rights to speak for those who are having their rights taken away from them. With liberty and justice for all, most of us grew up pledging these same hallowed words every day in school, and all the beautiful children of immigrants who've come to this great country in search of a better life, they attend our schools because of those words. Schools should be a safe haven for all children, a place to learn, a place to thrive, not a place to fear going to or coming home from. But terrible things are happening. Poor, helpless people are being dragged out of their homes. Families are torn apart. Children are coming home from school to find that their parents have disappeared. That's a direct quote from Anne Frank. In 1943, Holland, during the Holocaust, so unbelievably similar to the words that we're hearing today to describe the appalling assault on our community right here in Charlotte in 2025. No matter what your stance is on immigration, human dignity and decency must be part of the solution. Profiling and brutally abducting innocent people, ripping them from their cars in front of their children in school carpool lines is neither dignified or decent. It is fascism. Our Constitution protects all rights of all individuals, both citizens and non-citizens alike. The Fourth Amendment guarantees that the government cannot conduct searches or seizures without a warrant based on probable cause. These ICE seizures have neither. These seizures are unjustified and illegal. We implore CMS. Really? Do what everybody else is asking you to do.
If you would like, you can email us the remainder of your comments. You can email the remainder of your comments. Ms. Castro and Sarah K. Mooney.
Hello, everyone. My name is Esmeralda Castro. I serve the community as a Community Engagement Program Manager at Hispanic Federation. Hispanic Federation is a nonprofit organization that seeks to empower and advance the Hispanic community, families, and Latino institutions. I am also here as a coordinator of the Latino Justice Alliance of Charlotte, a coalition of 9 Latin-led organizations working together to advance justice in our community. First of all, thank you for all the work that you're doing to support all students. I speak to you not only as a program manager, but also as a first-generation Mexican-American and a proud product of public schools. Growing up, I shared many of the fears immigrant students still carry today, worrying not just about school, but whether my parents would come home safely. The fear doesn't stop at the classroom. It does. I see it in students today because I lived it. That's why I'm here, to ask for your support in making CMS schools a place where immigrant and first-generation students feel safe, supported, and seen. We are calling for trauma-informed training for school staff focused on immigration and resettlement, so educators can better understand what students are going through. We also ask that schools allow the distribution of printed immigration-related materials such as Know Your Rights, resources, and accurate non-legal information from trusted community organizations. Families deserve real, informed support. We finally urge the expansion of culturally competent mental health services. The stress and trauma many immigrant students face, combined with bullying, discrimination, and exposure to disturbing content online, affect their learning and well-being. These experiences stay with them unless we step in by offering trauma-informed, linguistically relevant mental health care. We can help students feel safe and more supported. You're not alone in this. The Hispanic Federation and Justice Latino is here to help too.
Thank you. Savannah Grass. Savannah. Okay. Go ahead.
Good evening. I am Sarah K. Mooney. I'm a parent, a former CMS teacher, and a proud member of the Charlotte East Language Academy PTA. I first want to thank you all for your time and your service. I care deeply about public education, and I believe educators have a moral responsibility to ensure that students feel safe and valued and supported. Regardless of where anyone stands on immigration policy, the responsibility of our schools remains the same, and that is to make classrooms safe spaces where learning can take place. And children cannot effectively learn if they don't feel safe. In this moment, this requires giving educators the tools and support to respond when students or their families are living in fear due to deportation threats or the trauma of family separation. I encourage 4 CMS teacher friends to share their perspectives tonight. They all declined, not out of apathy, but fear of retaliation. But one of them shared this wise observation with me. She said, "Safety isn't just the absence of harm, it's the presence of trust, understanding, and preparedness. We must prepare our educators. I urge you to provide in-person, trauma-informed training specifically focused on immigration-related stress. And I also urge you to allow the distribution of printed Know Your Rights materials from trusted community partners." Other folks have mentioned that among the 20 largest school districts in the U.S., CMS is the only one with a policy that restricts community-based organizations from distributing Know Your Rights information. We were told as a PTA back in February that we were not allowed to distribute at our school, and so we're asking for a clear yes. With large-scale immigration enforcement and mass deportations reportedly on the horizon, now is the time to prepare. I'll say it again, children cannot effectively learn if they do not feel safe. Our children's needs should not be held hostage to political complexity. Thank you.
Shailesh Shukla. Go ahead.
Good evening. My name is Savannah Keith Gruss, and I am the proud parent of 2 CMS elementary students and a part of a group of about 60 parents and staff who have come together to support one another, as many families at our school have faced very real fears related to ICE actions. For every voice you hear tonight, you can expect that many more have been silenced. Many immigrant families are understandably but tragically afraid to speak publicly out of fear of retaliation from ICE. For a similar reason, I'm choosing not to name our school tonight to avoid putting families at further risk, but we are an additional school beyond Charlotte East Language Academy. Tonight, I want to share 2 things. First, the hurt that we're hearing from families and our school community, and to ask for CMS to lead with more courage. First, ICE agents are hiding at school bus stops here in Charlotte, waiting to grab parents. This is truly the stuff of any child's nightmares. They are staking out our school pickup and drop-off lines and the entrances and exits to neighborhoods. As a result, students are missing learning and end-of-year activities in the hope that they can end the year without their parents being disappeared. Families are facing extreme stress and trauma. Multiple families have shared with me that they feel, quote, hunted and very unwelcome in our country and our community. We will not know the true toll this has on kids until many years down the road, but we know it will be all the greater if they live in a world where many of us remain silent about the horror that is unfolding. Our teachers are now left being crisis counselors with little or no preparation. We're asking CMS to do 4 things. First, publicly affirm immigrant families. Move beyond legal boilerplate language. Immigrants make America great. We want to hear you say so, and we want to hear our school leaders say it. Second, prepare now for the mass detentions that we hope never happen. Large-scale ICE actions elsewhere have resulted in kids being dropped off in homes with no parents. We can expect mass absenteeism and families to lack basic necessities. There's no excuse to be unprepared, and I echo the calls for trauma-informed training and basic Know Your Rights information for families. Please lead courageously on behalf of all of us who care deeply about our immigrant community.
Juliana Lozano.
Good evening. My name is Shailesh Shukla. I'm speaking tonight as a very frustrated and deeply concerned parent and a taxpayer. Let me clear, this community is losing trust in this school and the leadership of Ms. Hill. The major decisions are being taken behind the closed doors, and families are being left in the dark. We have had enough. The recent forced retirement of a respected and veteran principal, Ms. Brooks, with zero communication to parents, is not disappointing, it is disgraceful. So I'm asking tonight, why was this principal forced out, and why weren't we, the parents, told the truth? This is not a private HR matter. This is a public institution funded by public money, by taxpayers' money. We all pay your salary. So we deserve answers. Can we expect them? Please. And this is not the only concern we have seen. Confusing rushed, boundary design, sexual assault reports being hidden or taken away without anyone's knowledge, all with no or little transparency. This school board, I'm proud of the school board. They never miss an opportunity to disappoint the parents, and that's the truth. Whether it's silence, secrecy, or brushing aside real concerns, you are pushing families away, instead gaining their trust. All this starts at the top. The tone, the secrecy, the repeated failures in judgment that comes from the leadership of Dr. Hill. Let me say it clearly. We are not happy with your leadership. The lack of communication, the dismissal of parents' concern, and the pattern of secrecy, it all reflects a broken culture. The district will desperately need a culture change. We will not going away. We'll keep coming back. We need the answer. Please bring Brooks back.
Thank you. Jennifer Thomas.
Good evening. My name is Juliana Lozano, and I'm a licensed clinical social work associate and the executive director of a nonprofit called Despierta, which focuses on culturally responsive mental health programs for youth and families. I'm also the proud mother of a 1st and 7th grader in Charlotte-Mecklenburg schools. In the last few weeks, our team has worked directly with students who are scared to go to school because of what they might face there or what they might face coming home. Just recently, a parent was detained by ICE in front of his child on the way to school drop-off. These are moments that our students are carrying with them into the classroom. They're walking into school with fear in their eyes. They're trying to focus while holding on to trauma. We are seeing firsthand increased anxiety, bullying, panic attacks, low attendance, and self-harm. This is a mental health crisis, and it cannot be ignored. Our teachers are not trained to respond to this level of trauma. Staff are not equipped with the tools to support students through this fear. We've been told that schools are prepared, but I ask, what does preparedness really look like? Because preparedness is not a checkbox. It's not a statement or a promise. Preparedness is training, it's responsiveness. It's showing up when students need us the most. That's why we're urging CMS to take immediate action, to provide in-person trauma-informed training for all educators with a focus on immigration and family separation, to allow schools to physically distribute Know Your Rights information so every family, regardless of their background, has access to life-saving knowledge. My mother always told me, no one can ever take your education away from you. Education is powerful. That truth stayed with me. And yet, I can't help but think about the students who will never get that chance because fear is standing in the way of their learning. No one should ever be afraid to walk into a school building. We owe them more than silence. We owe them safety, and we owe them action. Thank you.
Lauren Rosenbaum.
Good afternoon. I'm Jen Thomas. I'm an instructional coach at Audrey Kell High School. Being a good teacher in a school is completely satisfying. It can be fulfilling, but for me, I just needed a little more. I needed to work towards perfection and not just be a good teacher. This is how I found myself at CMS, with a promise from Jamie Brooks that she would make sure that I could work towards perfection and be the best educator I possibly could be. I am so grateful for all the opportunities this district has provided for me to be a better teacher through initiatives like Reader's Apprenticeship, QTEL, coherent math curriculums, EOS programs, and our 4 core actions. During my time at CMS, I've been surrounded by professional instructors and specialists that both at Community House and at Audrey Kell. But all of these experiences have been cultivated by a single principal, and that principal is Jamie Brooks. I trust Jamie, not just because she guides me to be a really effective educator, to be a better person, but I also trust her with my frustrations, I trust her with my grief, I trust her with my joy, and her empathy cannot be understated. She puts family first, and to her, we're all family. I've lost her as my leader at AK, and she was my lighthouse during these very dark times in public education. What her loss means to us, to CMS, cannot be stated. cannot be stated dramatically enough. This has been a devastating loss for all of us, and I believe in this district. That's why I'm here. I believe that you can do what's right for the kids, and I believe in our staff. So my challenge to you is to be aware that for us, seeing such a beautiful principal as Jamie Brooks be thrown away makes us question how disposable we are.
Deborah Pupo.
Good evening. My name is Lauren Rosenbaum, and I am a parent of 3 kids at Audrey Cal. Jamie Brooks has been the principal for my kids since we moved here 8 years ago, first starting at Community House and then Audrey Cal. I'm deeply alarmed and disappointed by recent events at our school. The lack of transparency, understanding of our community, and blatant disregard for what's best for our students has completely eroded my trust in the district. Our teachers are showing up every day doing the real work, educating, encouraging, and caring for our children, despite stagnant pay, heavy workloads, and countless obstacles. They know their purpose, and I've seen firsthand their commitment to our students. That's why it's so disheartening to watch CMS fail to support them, especially in the removal of a respected principal who has given 30 years to education and our community. This wasn't a thoughtful decision, it was a PR move, and it has backfired. The students are hurt, teachers are demoralized, and the community is outraged. To make it worse, the process has been clouded in secrecy and misinformation. CMS has offered us no real answers, only spin and silence. True leadership listens. It values the voices of those with boots on the ground. But instead, CMS continues to make broad, disconnected decisions without facing the consequences. And we're tired of backroom deals, wasted resources, and decisions driven by image over integrity. It's time for change. Our students, staff, and community deserve leadership that puts them first. Thank you.
Alba Sanchez. Alba Sanchez. Okay. Ms. Pipio, give me again.
Yes. Good evening. My name is Deborah Pupo, and I'm an immigrant and a parent of 2 children at Audrey Cal High School. It's an honor to be standing here tonight and talk to the board and talk to CMS. 12 years ago, when I had the privilege to enroll my kids in kindergarten, I chose public education. And through 12 years, I have been a volunteer for CMS and very involved in every aspect of my children's education. When my kids enter Elon Park Elementary, they entered a program that calls Future Nights, that not only Ms. Brooks, but other principals created. And my kids grew up dreaming to go to Audrey Cal High School. What happens when they are there as a freshman and a junior, under the leadership that we have now? We see Ms. Brooks being taken away from them without any explanation. When I call home, I tell everybody that I'm proud to be in this country because my kids can have an excellent education. And what I have seen in the month of May is not an excellent education. Ms. Brooks was more than just a principal. She was visible, present, and ethical. She greeted all students and staff daily, attended every important school event, and gave her all to our school. If a leader with 30 years of integrity and service can be removed without expectations and without cause, how are we as parents and teachers and staff and students will feel like? My Raising Senior said something this week. My 2 children never wanted to miss school until the very last day, and they don't want to go back because they feel sad, they feel betrayed, they feel that their teachers, their educators are disheartened. And this is not what we are expecting from CMS. We expected better. As parents, we have entrusted CMS with our most precious treasures, our children. Tonight, Board of Education, I ask you to truly hear our voices and take them to heart. There is a quote that says, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. CMS Board, please, let's choose to go together for the sake of our children, the strength of North Carolina public education, and the future of this country.
Annie Earnhardt. Sanchez, you can go.
Good evening. My name is Alba Sanchez, and I am representing the Latin American Coalition, the oldest community-based Latino nonprofit in North Carolina. We have partnered with CMS for decades to educate our children. Today, I voice the concern of immigrant families facing unprecedented challenges to do the ICE actions. Our immigrant families are integral to Charlotte-Mecklenburg, contribute to our economy and enriching our cultural diversity. However, the search and ICE activities has instilled fear and uncertainty, disrupting lives and jeopardizing children's education. The tactic is clear: create fear in Latino immigrant communities to force families to flee their country they now call home. Allow me to share a story. 2 weeks ago, ICE agents raided a local church preschool, questioning parents in front of their children. This traumatic event is only one of the many I am sure you have heard. This leaves families fearful, the point that many of them are afraid to leave home and send their children to school. As a result, we see many who are now struggling with food instability and fear to lose their shelter. Even immigrants with asylum applications, TPS and DACA and other protections are now losing them and being deported in inhumane conditions. Might not be there when they return from school. We urge the Board of Education to take a stand, implement policies that protect our families and their families from unjustified.
You can email us the rest of your comments. Thank you so much. Andrew Lyons.
Good evening. I'm a parent of CMS students in South Charlotte. We're part of a tight-knit neighborhood school. Our teachers are not just our teachers, but part of our community. We are neighbors and friends raising our kids together, side by side. Through these relationships, I've observed a toxic work environment at the school in which they teach. They are bullied, intimidated, threatened, and devalued on a frequent basis. These are veteran teachers who've seen a lot of changes throughout their careers, even making it through COVID to now have the morale lowest that it's ever been. What recourse do they have to express their concerns and affect change at their workplace? How can they speak up and be safe from retaliation? They have tried using the Faculty Advisory Committee that allows teachers to express concerns. Concerns are either deleted from the document or addressed with a dismissive tone and no change seen. They have tried using the Speak Up form on the CMS website. Teachers had submitted concerns anonymously. They were all closed with no action. Parents, such as myself, became involved to advocate on their behalf. We submitted personal experiences and concerns from the teachers to various CMS administrative personnel. We've been told that the submissions and speak-ups have been investigated and found to be unmerited. How do investigations occur if not one teacher has had a conversation regarding the concerns submitted? We have directly asked for someone to speak to these teachers in a safe environment anonymously. That request has been refused, and we've been told the only way for this to move forward is for all the teachers to come forward to their human capital partners. They already feel they work in a toxic work environment and do not feel safe coming forward with their names. They are terrified of retaliation. I'm concerned concerned about the toxic work environment at our school and in the administrative ranks of CMS. I'm concerned teachers have no voice and no safe spaces. They have followed protocol, they have gone through the proper channels. Concerns are summarily dismissed as untrue, retaliation is real, and your voice does not matter. They are going to leave our school. They are going to leave the profession. And is this what we want? The teachers and staff in our schools are the most important employees of CMS. Please listen to them.
Mr. Lyons.
Thank you. I'm inspired by the passion of the parents here this evening. Take a look at the signs. All spot on. To Suburban and the school board, thank you for the opportunity to speak. My name is Andrew Lyons, and I'm a product of CMS. Went to Beverly Woods, Behringer, Carmel, South Meck. I love CMS. I put my 3 kids through CMS. CMS's reputation is tanking, and it's due to some communication gaps. I'm genuinely worried about the direction, or at least the perception of what is happening. This should be about the students, the teacher, and administrators, and nothing else. This is the second time this has happened at Ardrey-Kell, where a principal has been forced out. And the prior time, the principal was cleared of all wrongdoing. Are we making the same mistake again? Who will want to lead a school of this size under leadership that doesn't back the teacher or principal? Doing what is right is what is required of you. Jamie has managed student enrollment of over 3,500 with 200 plus staff. This is no small job. Mistakes happen. I ask you, the school board and superintendent, has she not operated with poise, patience, and professionalism? Jamie has consistently fostered fairness in one of the largest schools in the state. Jamie is a highly respected employee of CMS with a 30-plus year career. You can't make everyone happy, but I'm heartbroken to see how you've handled the communication and timing of her retirement. That behavior is unacceptable. It's time for you to take accountability instead of pushing this down. In typical Jamie spirit, we should focus on what is best for the student, and this includes preparedness for ICE. Let the community share information. Why stop that?
That concludes our public comments for this evening. I turn to Dr. Hill for the voluntary separations and promotions through January 5th, 2025 report.
As presented.
I turn to Dr. Hill for the Student Outcomes Focused Governance Monitoring Report, Goal 2, Interim Measures 2.2, Grades 6 through 8.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and good evening. I am providing a brief presentation prior to your discussion this evening. This report is focused on Goal 2, Interim Measure 2.2, Reading Grades 6 through 8. Goal 2 is to increase the percent of students scoring college or career ready on reading end-of-grade assessments in grades 3 through 8 from 31% in June 2023 to 50% in June 2029. In this report, we will look at the percent of 6th through 8th grade students projected to achieve college or career readiness on their reading end-of-grade assessment this year. We use MVPA benchmark assessment data to make these projections until students take the end-of-grade assessment at the end of the year and the data is available. These benchmark assessments allow us to determine if we are on track to achieving our annual target and to make quick adjustments along the way. Across the 30,268 Charlotte-Mecklenburg school students in grades 6 through 8 assessed during the final administration of this school year, 33% are projected to be at a level 4 or 5 in reading on the end-of-grade assessment at the end of this school year. This is an increase of 6% points over the actual EOG performance of students in 6 through 8 during the 23-24 school year, and consistent with our current administration of the MVPA assessment. The target for this year is 37% of students scoring a level 4 or 5 in reading on the reading end-of-grade assessment at the end of this school year. This data puts us at an overall and a goal status of progressing, as seen at the top right corner of this slide. That is our current performance for the entire 6 through 8 reading goal. We arrived at this status in accordance with the Student Outcomes Focused Governance Manual, which states, while student outcome goals and current student performance may not match perfectly, it only becomes problematic when there is no evidence of student growth and progress. The annual target for students in grades 6 through 8 in reading for the current year is 37%. This requires a 10% point increase over student performance at the end of last school year. In October, 30% of our students in grades 6 through 8 were projected to be a level 4 or 5 at the end of the school year. On our second benchmark, 33% of students in grades 6 through 8 were projected to be at a level 4 or 5 for the end of the school year, as well as the last benchmark that was given. Here you can see that 1,155 additional students in grades 6 through 8 would need to be a level 4 or 5 in reading on the end-of-grade assessment this year to achieve the target of 37%. And Madam Chair, that concludes the report for this evening.
Thank you, Dr. Hill. Board members, we will follow our normal cadence and looking backwards, looking questions first. Dr. Witherspoon.
Thank you. Dr. Hill, my question is really a hybrid, if you will. What targeted strategies are in place to support the 1,155 students who are not college and career ready, with a specific focus really concerned about 8th graders, even those that may be tier 2 and 3 and MTSS students, and then also how are the students on the cusp of proficiency being identified, monitored, and accelerated to ensure that they don't slip through the cracks?
Thank you, Dr. Witherspoon. So for the response to this question, I will go to the slide that we have projected. On this chart, you will see on the left-hand side, we have projects that are directly aligned to the goal, and on the right-hand side are indirect aligned projects, and those that are highlighted. I'd like to point out specifically MTSS. At our February leadership meeting, we worked very closely with principals to take a look at the EVOS projections. So every year, each individual student gets a projection, and it's based on their previous testing history. So our school teams met with leadership to take a look at their EVOS projections, as well as their benchmark and any other iReady assessment data to take a really good look at where students were projected. And so what they did is they put students on a, they charted their performance basically to see what their current performance was compared to what they were projected to be performing. So in other words, if a student was projected to perform well on the end of grade assessment, but their current MVPA was below, what things did they need to put in place for those students to be successful? And the same thing, if students were projected to be higher than their EVOS score was telling them, that let them know that they were on the right track in terms of growing that student towards being college and career ready. At the last benchmark assessment, the team worked very closely to do what they do at the end of every benchmark assessment, and that's the response to benchmark. And for that, let me just flip to that. I believe it's on slide 36. Yes, here it is. So this is similar to what we talked about at the last board meeting when we talked about how this is reported out. So here you can see our response in terms of exactly what we do when we receive the assessment information. Sorry, I just cannot focus.
Safety comes first. That's why they're not letting go.
I didn't even see where it's around. Okay.
So as I was saying, at the end of each benchmark, the team works with the instructional leadership team to take a look at the plans that they currently have in place, depending on where students fall on the benchmark assessment, what exactly is needed specific to their school. And then the school teams work very closely to identify who those students are and exactly what they need to work on to be college and career ready.
Thank you.
Dr. Hill, looking at slide 5, when we talk about the baselines for 22, 23, and 23, 24, what measures have you looked at that that's leading to grades 6 through 8? And looking backwards at, were you able to, or what strategies, let me get my thoughts together. When looking at slide 5, and when you're looking at the trends from 22, 23, and 24, 25, what have you observed and noticed that the connection from third grade benchmark reading to here, that led to this percentage level and the difference that we have now as a baseline for 25-26, for the 25-26 school year?
So one of the things that, before I answer that question, I want to give just a little bit of context. So for this particular report, focused very heavily on grades 6 through 8. And so I've said this before. Previously, there was not district level support provided specifically to middle schools. So what do I mean by that? So in terms of direct support, the way that we were organized in our learning communities, we were more by area. So the area, the person that was leading the area was responsible for pre-K all the way through 12 for their specific area. Additionally, the previous goals that the board had did not address middle grades education. So we know that to be true. The other thing in our learning and teaching division, we did not have specific support for middle school. So one of the things that we have done is we've reorganized, obviously, and now middle schools have that very specific support. So there's 2 school performance areas for middle school, and then there's 1 for K-8, which has allowed us to be much more aligned. Additionally, we also have support specifically for middle schools. And so while our teachers have had access to the EL curriculum, we've not provided a lot of support in the area of professional development, side-by-side coaching, things like that. So in terms of strategy, all of those things that I've talked about, in addition, this board allowed the opportunity for every school to have a master literacy and a master math teacher at every school. So worked very closely to support the schools in that. One of the things that we have noticed as we've received the data, and even as data is coming in now for end of year, one of the things that we've noticed in terms of trends is we're not necessarily seeing that uptick at 3rd grade, as you mentioned, but as students progress to 4th grade, 5th grade, 6th, 7th, and 8th, they are gaining ground. So last year, for example, we remained pretty much flat across the board. What we're seeing in our MVPA is that we are really seeing a spike in our middle grades ELA, and I really do think it's because of that concentrated support. Our teachers have been doing an excellent job, but now we've just really been focused on making sure that they have the support that they need and that they deserve. And as a result, teachers are being more successful. They're feeling more successful in the classroom in terms of teaching literacy, and it's showing up in the results as well.
Okay, so I'll save my next question. I think it's forward-facing in terms of the support at middle school. Monterey DeVault.
Dr. Hill, I'm looking at slide 11 at the iReady data. I'm curious about 8th grade students showing the lowest rate of sustained engagement, 46%, compared to 6th and 7th grade. How did that affect their typical growth performance?
You said 8th grade, is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, let me get to that right slide. There it is.
Yeah, like why do we think that they had the lowest rate, and how, if any, did that affect their typical growth performance?
So as you know, this was the first year of implementation for 8th grade. And so as mentioned on the slide, we have 94% for 6th grade, 93% for 7th grade, and 91% of 8th grade. We do have that, let's see, 51% have met or exceeded their typical growth. What we do know is that the more engaged students are in iReady and the more time that they are spending on iReady, if it's an appropriate, let me just say this for parents and everybody listening, we do not want students sitting in front of a computer doing iReady after iReady. That's not productive at all, and it actually will have the opposite effect. But there is recommended usage of iReady. So we do not quite know why 8th grade had a lower percentage, but to your point, all 3 grade levels are at 90% or higher. So we really feel good in terms of the implementation. And what we've learned is the more that students have access to it, the more that students are using it, the more that we're going to see an increase in terms of them meeting or exceeding their typical growth.
Thank you.
The other backwards looking questions.
6th grade, 93% for 7th grade, and 91%.
Backwards?
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess I think it's backwards. So, I think we alluded to it in this chart, but there's a lot of assessments, right? We've got MVPA, iReady, and there's classroom assessments that are, I know, based around the curriculum and the standards. As we one of the things I hear is like fatigue, especially in the middle school. And to be perfectly honest, I have a middle schooler, so I've seen a little bit of this fatigue myself. Are we looking to see which of those are the most impactful, or are we starting to be able to tease out what is the most impactful and what we do moving forward with the assessments and the protocol around that?
Yes, so each of the assessments serve a different purpose. So the MVPA is based explicitly on standards, and it's all grade level content. The iReady assessment is more of adaptive, so basically it adapts based on how you respond. So you might have a student that's in 8th grade, they may be a high flyer, and so it will adapt based on how they're responding to questions. We have taken we agree that our teachers have said it's a lot, our parents have said it's a lot, and our students have said it's a lot. So what we did is say, yes, we agree with you, but we're not sure what that should look like. So the first thing that we did is we went to our teacher advisor. We have a superintendent's teacher advisory committee, and we said, we hear you, we agree there's too many assessments. What do you think we should do about it? This is a prototype of what we are thinking. We can do this or we can do this. We shared that with them, got their feedback, tweaked it a little bit. Did that same thing with our principal leadership advisory. And did we do that, Beth? Where's Beth? Did we do that with parents? Yes. Okay, so we didn't have that specific conversation with parents, but we did have it with teachers and with principals. And ultimately, what we came up with is a different cadence for assessment. So next year, there will be a different cadence for assessment. We went back and we took everybody's feedback, went back to teachers, they said, yep, this looks great. Went back to principals, they said, yep, this looks great. So next year, there will be a different cadence of assessments. What that will mean, though, is we will have the cadence will be a little bit different in terms of how we deliver the reports to you all, if that makes sense, because obviously we want the report to follow the data. So that will be coming when we bring next year's SOFG calendar to you, and Ms. Thompson will explain to you the reason why the cadence of the reports will look a little bit different, but we believe it's what's in the best interest of our students, and will hopefully not see the fatigue that you are referencing. So thank you for that.
Did you have a follow-up? Okay. All right, Board Member Klein.
If you go to slide 10, and I'm interested in the trickle-down effect of what's happening in the classroom, because it says that master teachers and instructional leaders are benefiting from the ongoing professional development. But how are the classroom teachers, the ones who are actually given the instruction, benefiting from the professional development that's been given?
Yeah, so back in the day, we would, when I was a teacher, or even when I was a principal, we would pull teachers out of classroom instruction or try to jam all of the professional development on work days or early release days or whatever. Some of that still occurs, but what we know is that there's more effective ways to provide professional development. And the best way to provide professional development is side by side, which is why that master literacy teacher is so important. And so we're on forward facing, correct? No, we're still on backwards. Okay. Can I give you a forward? Okay. I'm going to answer it backwards, and then you can ask me a follow-up later for forward, if that makes sense. But this year, what we have heavily focused on is making sure that those master teachers are receiving that professional development. Our classroom teachers are receiving it as well, but master teachers in the expectation that they're going back, sharing the information with the teachers, but then also supporting them in an I do, we do, you do model, meaning that the master teachers are in the classroom providing side-by-side support for the teachers that deserve that professional development.
Follow-up?
Just hold that thought 1 second. I just want to see if it's any other backwards.
Well, it's backwards.
She has another backwards. She has
Okay,
a
but I was just wondering if you wanted to transition your question, the other parts of forward to complete Dr. Hill's answer.
Oh, okay.
But if you have another backwards, then
Yeah,
then go
it
ahead.
was backwards.
Okay.
How do we know that it's being, how do we know, I've lost my train of thought, it happens when you're old. How do we know that that's working?
Can you start the question over?
How do we know that the training and the
Oh.
mass, how do we know that that transition is
Yep.
actually working in the classroom? That's still backwards thinking. That is backwards.
No, it is. No, that's right. Yes, it is. To answer your question, we have several things that really go together. So in terms of the professional development is delivered. Then we are going back in through our core action walks, and we're walking through and specifically looking for the instructional strategies that are related to the professional development that we've provided. This is also tied also into the response to benchmark that I talked a little bit earlier about, like the plans, making adjustments to their school improvement plans and of that such. So all of those things really fit together. We give the assessment, we do the response to benchmark, we're providing the professional development, then we're going through and doing the classroom walkthroughs to make sure that what we trained on, the professional development that we trained on, is actually being actualized in the classroom. And then if it's not, then providing that follow-up support for the teacher, the master teacher, whatever, just to improve their practice.
All right, I think we are ready to transition to forward. Now, did you want to,
Go ahead
with your response? I don't know if you even remember what that.
No, I do.
Okay, go ahead.
Go ahead with the forward thinking.
Yes. So it was around professional development. And so next year, if you will recall, we talked a lot about during the budget season, Ms. Monterey Davalis coined it as the bricks. And so that's what we call it now. In every setting is the bricks. But if you'll remember the bricks that were like in that L, and at the very top, we had the change agents, but that very first brick was the instructional specialist. And then right after the instructional specialist was the master teacher. And basically, next year when we report on SOFG, we will not be reporting out on individual projects. We'll be reporting out on initiatives. So my point is, this summer, we are working really, really hard to make sure that all of our instructional specialists are aligned in what the most important things are that they need to support teachers in. Because basically what happens right now is if you are a year 1, 2, or 3 teacher, right, you might have beginning teacher support. So the specialist might be coming to your school to help you with beginning teacher support. Then you might have the multilingual instructional person coming to support you. Then on top of that, you'll have the literacy person coming to support you. Well, that's a lot for one teacher to manage, right? They listen to this person, and they're all coming from the central office. So it's all good intentioned and all great work, but it's not necessarily aligned. So the goal is to make sure that the teacher's time is protected and the teacher is really getting the best support possible. So this summer, all 115 or so specialists that we have are being trained on the most important things. So when we go out to support schools next year, there is a united support so the teacher's not having to code switch, for lack of a better word, with the specialists that's supporting them. So our specialists will be, they've always been, but they will be critical to the success of us meeting our goals next year in combination with our master teachers, of course with our outstanding teachers as well, to make sure that that we're meeting the goals.
Vice Chair Rankin.
This is slide 8, where we have the aligned projects. Just a list of them. Yes. So we have the individual projects, which are a big portion of the strategy. Can you explain how the individual projects align and complement one another to collectively support reaching our goal 2?
Yes.
Versus individual projects, how do they all piece together collectively to reach our goal here in goal 2?
Yes, so I'll start with PO1, which is to provide comprehensive curriculum and professional development. That's where it starts, right? We have our EL curriculum, which is obviously the equalizer and the support for our students as well as our teachers. You can't have curriculum if you don't have strong professional development. The teachers have to know how to use the resource that we're putting in front of them and be able to sort through what are the most important parts. Then you have, let's see, I will jump to the core action walkthroughs. As I mentioned earlier, PO3 is the core action walkthroughs when we're actually going through and seeing if PO1 is being implemented in terms of providing that comprehensive curriculum, along with the professional development, which would be those strong instructional strategies. The high needs vacancy monitoring goes along with that because all of it falls apart if we don't have a teacher in the classroom, and not just a teacher in the classroom, but an excellent teacher in the classroom. And right now we're at 99% fill rate for our teachers this school year. The MTSS goes along right with that. If students are not responding to the curriculum that's being provided, that happens during Tier 1. If students are not being responsive to the instruction that's being provided to them at an appropriate level, then they receive a Tier 2 or Tier 3 intervention. So those all go together. We know that we have to have strong family and community partnership, and so, I'm going to go back to 11 in a minute because I want to highlight something there, but the work that we've really been doing this year with our community partners as well as our families to make sure that they know and understand what their students should be able to do. We know that's something that we heard, or that the board heard loud and clear when you were developing their goals. And then, I can continue going on, but attendance, of course, students need to be in school every day. The recruitment and retention goes back to the high needs vacancies, as well as onboarding our new employees, as well as our family academy. Did that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay.
I do have a follow-up too.
Yes.
Using the bricks as the example,
Yes.
looking forward, does that mean there will be one large strategy or one large initiative that say these types of projects will feed into, but this is still the focus? Just I want to make sure I'm looking at this correctly. So we have one initiative around whatever it may be, then that's the main strategy that we'll be focusing on or reporting out on throughout the year. Is that what that means?
I'm not exactly sure how that's going to play out in terms of the report, but we will no longer be reporting out on, as you just called out, like for example on slide 9, where we've listed out comprehensive curriculum and professional development. Your report will not just speak to that. It will be more around initiative, and then we'll be talking about strategies within that initiative. The other change that you will see, and you're starting to see that, I think you've seen a progression in terms of the way that we report out. Since this is the first year of the board of the board's goals and the strategic plan, a lot of the metrics have been implementation metrics, like blank % of master teachers attended training, right? And so next year we will be reporting much more on impact metrics, so it's not just so what, but now what? What does that mean? You did that, people participated in a training, okay, that's wonderful. What was the actual impact? So those are the types of changes that you can expect to see in terms of the reports next year.
That's good.
That's good. Forget it.
Any other forward questions? All right. I turn, oh, sorry, let's see.
How do we feel about, like, where we're gonna end up? I mean, we're wrapping up EOGs.
This is the hardest report to give because we kind of have a peek into how we're going to end. But I will say that all of the hard work that our teachers and students have done and the high expectations that this board has set is paying off.
I clap. Oh, okay.
I think that's it. All right, thank you, Dr. Hill and board members for a fruitful discussion. I turn to Dr. Hill for the classified compensation schedules, Phase 2 implementation of compensation study report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. All right, thank you, Madam Chair. We would like to say that because of your outstanding leadership, our classified employees are experiencing their first fully implemented compensation study in the last 18 years. Just a few months ago, you approved Phase 1 of the classified compensation study. As a reminder, these salary schedules were retroactive to July 1st, 2024. On tonight, we will be sharing with you my recommendation for Phase 2, which would be effective July 1st, 2025, pending your vote on June 24th. As a reminder, this is all a result of your budget that was fully approved and fully funded last night by our Board of County Commissioners. So at this time, I will turn to Dr. Keisha Khan to present Phase 2 of our classified compensation study.
Good evening. We bring to you tonight recommendations for implementing Phase 2 of the classified compensation study. As we begin tonight, we would like to do a quick review of where we started, what's been accomplished, and then move on to recommendations for next steps. As a reminder, our classified employees are staff who primarily support the district's daily operations and are generally not certified to teach. This group includes more than 390 unique job titles, with major roles such as bus drivers, custodians, teacher assistants, clerical staff, and maintenance workers. In the fall of 2023, we identified a need to conduct a comprehensive review of classified pay grades 1 through 9, and we engaged an external firm who conducted a classified compensation study. In the spring of 2024, we requested funding from Mecklenburg County to support the study. In the summer of 2024, Mecklenburg County approved the funding. We are grateful for the support of our local county commissioners in funding the request. In the fall of 2024, staff verified their state service data. In January 2025, the recommendation went to you as a Board of Education, and you approved the recommended salary schedules. And in February 2025, Phase 1 was implemented retro back to July 1. That brings us to Phase 2 in our timeline, which is highlighted in green. What we've accomplished so far with the implementation of Phase 1 through the board and district leadership has been no small feat. This marked, as Dr. Hill shared, the first compensation study undertaken and implemented by CMS since 2007. A compensation study was done in 2018-19, however, it was not funded or implemented. It had been 18 years since CMS had implemented a study. Over $25 million was invested in our classified employees in Phase 1, and we were able to raise the minimum hourly rate to $20 an hour. As a reminder, these were our key goals of the classified compensation study, and we accomplished a lot in Phase 1. The overarching goal is to establish a competitive pay framework that ensures employees are neither underpaid nor overpaid, fostering equity and market competitiveness. We were able to get pay grades North Carolina NC 6, 7, 8, and bus to market under all schedules in Phase 2, and the work will need to continue into Phase 3. In Phase 2, the goals were to place pay grades NC08 and above on market competitive salary schedules as we focus on bringing the next group of employees closer to market rates. Another goal was to place a SMP, or school nutrition program, on a separate pay schedule, and also to place occupational therapists and physical therapists on the MH18 pay schedule. And the last goal that you see listed there is to reward our classified employees for each additional year of CMS service, with the goal of starting that in January, and for that to occur every January pending funding. Here we've provided you with a list of positions that are impacted by the classified compensation study and their corresponding salary schedules. Below that, you have linked the updated salary schedules that we're submitting to you for your approval. Kelly Klutz, our Chief Finance Officer, will now share more with you regarding the funding.
Thank you, Dr. Cohn. So Phase 1 was this category of employee. Phase 2 is on the tiers that we'll talk about next. So starting with the old language of pay grade 6 and above, the new language being North Carolina 11 and above. There were 856 employees in that category. In this recommendation, 826 will receive a pay increase, and that cost is approximately $5.8 million. The employees in this category will get an average pay increase of 12.22%. As Dr. Cohn mentioned, we broke out the occupational and physical therapist schedule to a schedule that aligns better with the state. There's 78 employees that we have on record, and 78 employees in that category will receive a pay increase. This will cost about $607,000, and the average pay increase is 8.18%. I would like to say that the numbers before you are a moment in time. Our staff changes. It's a little bit fluid, so this was a point in time. It will change day to day. So these are estimated costs. And at the bottom, you see how we're going to pay for the recommendation by fund. So today we're sharing our recommendation. On June 24th, the board will be asked to vote on our recommendation. Upon board approval, we will implement the new schedule with an effective date of July the 1st. Retroactive pay will not be necessary in this phase, different from Phase 1, because we were able to acquire the funding and put it before you for a vote before the effective date. So we are deeply grateful for the Board of Education and Mecklenburg County Commissioners for their partnership in supporting our employees. This is more than a compensation update. It's a shared commitment to doing what's best for our community. When we invest in people, we invest in the success of Mecklenburg County. Thank you. This concludes our presentation.
Thank you so much. Board members, questions? First one I see is Board Member Easley.
Yes. I might have missed this, but you just said it's not retroactive.
Correct.
Why not?
Because we're going to make it effective on the very first paycheck they get. So it'll
Okay,
get.
so there's nothing from that we're going to, okay, got it.
Yep.
Okay.
So we got ahead of it this time. Phase 1, we had to do all the hard work. It
Right.
took a little bit of time, but we were ahead of it this time.
Gotcha.
So I have a follow-up. Go ahead.
No, I have another question. So
Go ahead.
It's not a follow-up.
That's okay.
Okay. I just want to make sure. I want to be very clear on this, that this is for classified staff only, right? And our academic specialists do not qualify as classified. They are on the teacher schedule, correct?
So one of the recommendations that did come out of the salary study was to move our instructional specialists and coordinators off of the classified schedule. So they are currently on the classified schedule, or were previously, and the recommendation was to move them to the teacher pay schedule. We have been exploring this option, and we'll bring a recommendation separately for that group. And we have shared that with those employees earlier this evening.
Earlier this evening, they were shared. Okay.
Before the board meeting.
But just for clarity, they knew early on when we presented to you all phase one, as you all remember, that came up. So there was a conversation of, are instructional specialists classified employees or are they certified employees? And so that did come up. We've been working with them to get their years of experience on their license and all of that, because previously they had not been accumulating years of experience on their license because they were classified employees.
Okay,
so that makes sense? So just to put it in perspective, so if we had a specialist who had been a classroom teacher, was hired to be in a specialist role, and let's say they had 10 years of teaching experience. They've been at the central office for 10 years. They've not accumulated the last 10 years on their license.
Okay.
So if they ever decided to go back to a classroom, it would look like they have 10 years of experience, and they really should have been accumulating years of experience on their license. So the teams worked very closely with them to collect all their information, send it to DPI to make sure that those teachers have the credit on their license that they deserve, as well as working on a recommendation for their salary. But we've separated it based on the recommendation of the third party that we worked with.
Okay.
So that will come to you the 24th.
Okay. Not to vote, just to hear.
To vote.
To vote on the
Yes.
24th as well.
Yes, you'll receive information on that.
Board Member Klein.
I think that's great. I do have a question. How much is that going to cost us in addition?
So we'll have that information for you on the 24th.
Can you get it to us before so we can make a
We'd like to.
decision?
Well, you'll have it, as you always do, on the 11-day rule.
Right.
It's already been funded. You've already, when you approved the.
I'd like to just have a breakdown of how much more it's going to cost us in the long run, because those teachers will then, as they move up, and rightly so, it's sad that they've been held back. I just would like to know how much it's going to cost.
It was actually in our budget presentation that you guys voted for. So that
You've approved
amount
it already.
is in there.
Vice Chair Rankin, okay.
Staying in that same vein, so you're saying that specialists and coordinators are not a part of this presentation right now. Is that correct?
Correct.
They are or are not?
They are not included in the recommendations that we're bringing to you tonight.
Tonight, they're not. Okay. Will they, so have there been a decision to switch from classified schedule to teacher schedule? Has that decision been made?
You will receive that recommendation to vote on June 24th.
We'll find out about those particular positions on the 24th. What the schedule will be.
You'll learn it per your 11-day rule prior to that. But instructional specialists are not classified employees and should have never been considered classified employees. So we are separating them.
Yes.
Classified employees are typically, as we see here, those people that are generally not licensed to teach.
Yeah.
Instructional specialists by nature are instructional employees. So we are separating them, but we're bringing it to you in two separate recommendations.
For those specialists that are accumulating longevity pay, how does that work?
My next question.
That will be shared with you in the June 24th
All right.
report.
I've tried it every
The
which way.
only people that we're talking about tonight are these examples: bus drivers, custodians, teacher assistants, clerical staff.
Gotcha.
And there is no You voting on this in terms of a financial impact has nothing to do with the instructional specialist. So don't feel like if we vote for this, there's not going to be enough money for the specialist.
Yeah,
You've already approved the budget you've already approved the budget for this.
Yep.
Wait a minute, hold
I'll
up.
come back to you.
We don't get 10 minutes?
Because it's not a motion.
Oh, okay, I'll come back. My bad.
Dr. Witherspoon.
Thank you. My question is for clarity, and forgive me if you mentioned this, going back a couple of months. Just the after-school and the school nutrition are self-funded.
Self-funded,
Correct.
that's correct,
Just want to
yes.
make sure. Okay. That's it.
Okay. Board Member Nunn.
On slide 9, I believe, we list the average increases. And I know this specifically for this phase, it was on the higher pay grades. I know the first phase was heavily focused on entry level, getting them up to market. We have an average increase, especially in the upper levels, of 12% and 8%. Is that a straight line average, or is it certain positions are getting a larger increase? So whether it's a custodian or school bus, are those kind of equal, like everyone's getting a 12% increase, or do we have the breakdown of that by the types of positions? I know we have the codes, but is there a way for us to understand who's getting the larger impacts?
In this category, in the category, the top category 1 through 5 and NC 6 through 10, it's pretty easy for us to do that because there's a lot of people in those pay grades, bus drivers, cafeteria workers, those. But remember, there were nearly 400 job titles. And so there's a lot of job titles in that second category. So yes, we can pull the data, but there's not large like groups.
Gotcha.
So it's almost like you have to look at individuals to be able to tell. But the answer to your question is no, not everybody's getting 12%. There are ranges all over the spectrum.
Okay. Got it. So that's just a percentage based on the budget investment that
Right, we have
are
a
seeing
cost.
for all of their pays, but not necessarily indicative of actual raise percentages.
So we have a cost file.
Yep.
And we pulled a summary on the average, and that's how we got that average.
Okay. Gotcha.
So I have a question. So does this, at the second phase, mean that that all of our employees are at a minimum of $20 an hour now?
That is correct. That is accurate. And I would also go so far to say that the majority of our employees in the classified jobs after implementation of Phase 2 are at competitive market.
Okay.
We will still have a few that we will have to address in Phase 3, but the majority, overwhelming majority, are at market, relative market changing.
Vice Chair Rankin.
Just want to make sure, with this change here and the 24th, will there be anyone's salary that will be going down? Is everyone's salary increasing, or at least with this compensation study? Will anyone lose money?
The compensation study before you today, there will be no one that will lose money
Today?
today.
I'll be back on the 24th, that's the same question.
I'll be asking.
All right.
All right, any other questions? Being none, I turn to Dr. Hill for her superintendent's report.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair. We'd like to say congratulations to Mallard Creek High School's A.S. Celliphant team, who is the winner of the North Carolina Department of Public Instruction's 6th Annual Ready, Set, App competition hosted by the North Carolina Business Committee for Education and sponsored by Lenovo. The contest challenges student teams to design and develop an Android mobile application to solve problems in their school or community. The team's willing app teaches users about the Foundation for American Sign Language, also known as ASL, through a gamified leveling system which features unique quizzes and flashcards. Our students competed against more than 100 teams from 30 counties. Graduation ceremonies for the class of 2025 will resume on June 12th and continue through June 17th. Ceremonies will be live streamed for guests who are unable to attend in person. You can visit our district website at www.cmsk12.org for a complete ceremony schedule as well as live streamed links. Congratulations to the Audrey Kell women's soccer team. They are the North Carolina High School Athletic Association's 4A champions. The Knights defeated Ashley 2-1 and finished the season with a 23-3-4 record. This is the school's second state soccer title in 3 years. Congratulations to the players, coaches, and supporters and fans on a season to remember. Congratulations to Atiba Bethea, who's a teacher at Mallard Creek High School, and Jasmine Smith, teacher at Olympic High School, who've been selected to participate in the prestigious Keenan Fellows Program for Teacher Leadership, which is an initiative of the Keenan Institute of Engineering, Technology, and Science at North Carolina State University. The program provides K-12 teachers with immersive industry-based professional development that empowers them to build education-industry partnership in their local communities. These partnerships pave the way for students to explore and access regional career pathways, equipping them with skills and knowledge they need to thrive in their future pursuits. We'd like to say congratulations to Amanda Thompson, who is a curriculum specialist, who was named the 2025 Central Office Administrator of the Year by the North Carolina Association of Educators. Congratulations, Amanda Thompson, very well deserved. Charlotte-Mecklenburg Schools will host a request for information meeting tomorrow, June 6th at 9 a.m. at our Stafford Drive location for electric vehicle charger service providers. The purpose of the meeting is to gather information from providers interested in offering electric vehicle charging services for current and future facilities. Earlier this week, students from Philip O'Berry Academy of Technology and Hawthorne Academy of Health Sciences participated in the official opening of the Pearl, Charlotte's inaugural Innovation District, where medical education, innovation, and opportunity will converge to shape the future of healthcare, community, and K-12 education. POB students showcased their ongoing work in a cutting-edge 3D model virtual reality space designed to explore the rich history of Charlotte's Brooklyn neighborhood and Second Ward. The Pearl is also set to be a multi-phased mixed-use development featuring office, lab, retail, residential, community gathering, and academic space. It will be home to Charlotte's first four-year medical school, Wake Forest University School of Medicine, Charlotte. Special thanks to our partners, Atrium Health, Carolinas College of Health Sciences, Mecklenburg County, and the City of Charlotte for all they are doing to incorporate learning opportunities for Charlotte-Mecklenburg students into the Pearl. Thank you, Madam Chair and members of the board. This concludes my report.
Thank you. The final action items, final items for this meeting is board members' report. I turn to board member Summer Nunn.
Thank you. Good evening. As the representative for South Charlotte, I want to begin by recognizing two outstanding principals, Lisa Bells and Jamie Brooks, who are retiring after more than 30 years both of dedicated service to Charlotte-Mecklenburg schools. Their leadership has shaped generations of students and families. As a representative of our community, I extend a heartfelt thanks and best wishes on their next chapter. I know from neighbors, friends, community leaders, and those speaking here tonight that they both leave behind a powerful legacy. I also want to speak directly to the families, students, and staff who've reached out to me. I've read your emails, I've taken your calls, I've heard your concerns. As a board member and a parent, I understand your frustration and the uncertainty surrounding these situations. While legal limits prevent public discussion of personnel matters, even with us as the board, this moment reminds us of how essential communication is to trust. Earlier this year, after threats disrupted several South Charlotte campuses, CMS updated its communication protocols to improve responsiveness. That was an important step. Given recent events, I believe it's time we also examine how and when we communicate on principal and key staff members if they're absent, as such steering with a suspension with pay. Families and staff deserve clarity and consistency in their schools. Looking ahead, Jane Armbruster has been appointed the principal of South Charlotte Middle, and I'm confident she'll continue to lead that school's strong tradition. And with Ms. Brooks' retirement, CMS must now begin a thoughtful and community-informed search for Audrey Kell's next leader. To Ms. Bales and Ms. Brooke, if you're out there watching, thank you. And to our community, thank you for staying engaged. Your voice matters, and I'm committed to making sure that it's heard. Thank you.
I think Board Member Byers-Bailey was next.
Thank you. I had the pleasure this morning of attending a partner appreciation ceremony for Bruns Avenue Elementary School. And I heard things that really pleased and overwhelmed me, just about. I didn't have the thing on. Apparently, the school, when just a couple of years ago, had the sum total of 3 partners. Today, I heard they have over 184 partners. My marching orders were to give closing remarks and a way forward. And my statement to them was, go out and multiply yourself. In other words, each one get one more. Because there is no such thing as any school, especially schools of that caliber, that can never come up with too many partners. They always need the number, the kinds of things. When they were honoring each one of the partners that they had, no 2 partners were doing the same thing. It is just astounding the variety of support that those students and faculty have from the partners that work with them. And so I was really pleased. Thank you.
Board Member Klein.
Thank you. Good evening. The end of the school year is here, and everyone should be celebrating the beginning of the summer, the wonderful events and successes this year. Sports teams have won state championships. Debate teams have excelled. Odyssey of the Mind teams have won national awards this week, and countless other accolades. Our seniors are off to a future filled with endless possibilities, whether it be enrolled, enlisted, or employed, thanks to the hard work of their teachers. Yet here we are. We have heard from various parents tonight Earnhardt from Old Providence, and Julie Woody from Carmel Middle School, because the teachers are afraid of using their voice and honesty for fear of reprisal. Parents have asked for a survey to see if our teachers feel supported. Many are leaving the field, a field that I've devoted over 40 years to, and we're not helping the situation. We are making it worse. My heart hurts, and the future of our children as teachers are feeling as if they are working in a field filled with mines that will explode underneath them any second. They believe that they will be retaliated against when speaking out. Our administrators are filled with trepidation, especially this week with scores coming out, hopefully that they make their goals. So the pressure has a trickle-down effect. Have we forgotten the social and emotional well-being of our teachers? These teachers and parents may appear to be a small minority in the grand scope of our district, but this isn't happening in a vacuum. In the words of Nobel Peace Prize laureate Malala Yousafzai, when the whole world is silent, even one voice becomes powerful. And this is to those of you in the audience and those at home. Parents and teachers, do not be afraid to speak up for your schools in ways that they can improve, and in ways that we can improve. As a former social studies teacher, just like Mr. Hargrove tonight, I remind you, the spark of change starts with one person or group. We as a district and a board need to do better in our communication, and I hope we will. In fact, I push for better communication. Let us be a lesson for all of us to do better. Thank you. I was trying to hurry.
No, I got you. Dr. Witherspoon.
Oh, it wasn't running. Yay.
As this school year comes to a close, I just want to wish all of our students a safe and fun summer. I also wish to congratulate all of our students who have graduated. Well, they're not students anymore. To those who graduated and those who will be graduating, we wish you the best, and we hope that all of your dreams come true. Moreover, our principals and teachers, my 4-year-old son, his favorite song is Boots on the Ground. And for those who know, it's just African-American music genre. He has, and so for all of our principals and teachers and school-level staff, you are our boots on the ground. Thank you so much for what you have done this year to make all of our student outcomes possible. To our dynamic superintendent and staff, thank you all. Thank you all to the board so much. That concludes my report.
Board Member Easley.
Thank you. Good evening. As we wrap up the school year, I also want to thank teachers, staff, and school leaders for everything you've given our students. I spent 15 years in the classroom teaching science and social studies, as recently as 2021. I know the stretch feels like exhausted, emotional, and ready for that break. Please take that break, but also stay engaged. Your voice matters far beyond the classroom. If you have concerns, don't hesitate to reach out. We are here to listen, we are here to support you, and we are here to keep working for better for our CMS community. June is also Pride Month, and Pride is not just about a celebration, it's about survival. It exists because too long, LGBTQ+ people were told to hide, stay silent, or worse. That silence was never safe. As a queer board member, I want to say this very clearly. Every LGBTQ+ student, educator, and family member belongs in our school, and we will not back down from protecting and affirming who they are, because every child deserves to be safe, seen, and supported in their learning environment. And for those who want to continue to stay connected, my newest edition of my ongoing community newsletter, Chalk Talk, has released this week, and you can see it available at Easley 4, and that's F-O-R, not the number 4, but Easley, F-O-R, CMS.com. Thank you all, and continuing for believing in public education.
Thank you. I turn to our student advisor for her report.
Yes, I'm just going to keep it short and sweet, but students, I'm just so proud of us. Even through all the ups and downs that we've had this year, we still made it through. And so I'm just wishing everyone a fun and safe summer, and enjoy it. Thank you.
Thank you. Board Member Monterey Devon.
Thank you. Graduation season is here, and I'm incredibly proud to celebrate with our students and family. Whether you're finishing your journey enrolled, employed, or enlisted, congratulations. I want to especially recognize our first-generation students. Whether you're the first to graduate high school, attend college, or grow up in this country, you're likely overcome more than most. Let that experience be your strength and not your limit. A special shout out to Brianna Castro, a Cuban-American CMS senior who earned $1.2 million in college scholarships, academic excellence at its finest. But even in the season of celebration, many in our community are feeling fear of detainment, deportation, and family separation as immigrant enforcement intensifies. Since November, CMS has taken over 40 times, CMS has taken action over 40 times over several channels to inform and protect our families, from legal guidance and public statements to school-based training and community outreach. I also want to clarify, under policy O-DISD, partners and other approved organizations are able to distribute Know Your Rights materials as long as they're in compliance with policy, and these decisions can always be appealed to the board. Meanwhile, North Carolina lawmakers are advancing Senate Bill 153 and House Bill 318, which would expand local cooperation with ICE. Both bills have been passed in the chamber and are moving forward. So families are asking, what will CMS do? Well, we're going to follow the laws that protect our students' right to education, but these rights are under attack. So tonight I want to flip the question. What's the public going to do? There's 9 of us and a million of you in this county. While families are being separated and deported without due process, terrorized near schools, places of worship, and workplace, many are scrolling past. This message isn't for those that are already showing up. You're doing your part. I see you and I thank you. This is a call to action for those who aren't. History is watching. God is watching. What are you going to do? This concludes my board report.
Thank you. Vice Chair Rankin.
Thank you. I just want to say thank you to all the parents and community members that we've received emails from, show up at the board meetings. We appreciate your engagement. I just want to say we hear you. I want to say that this is a district of integrity, this is a board of integrity, and this is a superintendent and executive and cabinet team of integrity. And I know there are certain assumptions that certain things that happen that were not above board, but I guarantee you this is a district of integrity, and things were followed properly. Change is not easy, and I understand that. And I know that Ms. Brooks, to be a part of our district for 30 years, is a phenomenal principal, and I wish her luck. I also want to say our schools are safe. We have policies and procedures in place that protect our students and families that are on our campus. Now, there is an administration and there are individuals that are targeting around our schools where we have no jurisdiction. But we have a process in place and practices in place that have been cascaded down to the school level to protect our students. I just want to make sure that's clear. There has not been one ICE raid on our campus, not one. So that our schools are safe, and I want to make sure we understand that. And we're going to continue to do that and push that. Lastly, we're a board that governs. And you hear the terms SOFG. That means Student Outcomes Focused Governance. I want to end on student outcomes. Congratulations to the class of 2025. You did it. Congratulations to my favorite senior. I'm going to try not to cry. My youngest, who will be graduating from Hopewell High School. She did it. Congratulations, Jada Rankin, baby. I love you. And congratulations to the class of 2025. Thank you.
All right. So it's understood that threats to families and change, especially when it comes unexpectedly, can be difficult. I want to acknowledge the frustration and fear and concern that many in our community are feeling right now. And when emotions are high, it's understood because people care deeply. And they care deeply about their schools, their children, their families, their community, their livelihoods. We understand that. We hear that. Your feedback matters. It's nothing that we shy away from, and it's a part of a continued process towards improvement. We're not going to get everything 100% right, and I'm not saying anything in these particular, whatever your frustration thing is, because something is wrong. But as we bring this school year to a close, I want us to make sure that we end on the spirit of that we must work together. There are people that are intentionally divisive. There are people that move intentionally with a spirit to divide. And that's something that we cannot allow because it is not productive to any of us. But I do want to end that I'm very proud of our students. You've pushed through all the challenges, you've shown resilience, and you've achieved so much. Whether it's mastering a tough subject, growing in confidence, or supporting your classmates, you should be proud. We are proud. And to our educators and staff and school leaders, all 99% of you that are filling our positions, thank you. Your commitment to our students and to this district has not gone unnoticed. The long hours, the creative lessons, the steady guidance, it matters. You matter. Let's end this school year with a shared commitment to keep showing up and doing those things that bring us together and that will move our students and our families and our communities forward. So with that being said, the board, there being no further business, the meeting is adjourned.